Yeah. Welcome to Mapleton City Council meeting on Wednesday, November 16th, 2022. All city council members present. We'll begin with an invocation by Councilman Garrett and led in the Pledge of Allegiance by Councilmember Jones.
Our Father in heaven, we bow before you at the beginning of this meeting. We're thankful for the many blessings we enjoy. We're grateful for this community and this city and for all the citizens that we get to rub shoulders with. We're thankful for the opportunity that we have to work together with the staff of the city. We're thankful for them and for each of the departments, for all the dedicated work that they do. We're grateful for the opportunity that we have now to meet and to discuss these items. We pray for thy guidance, and we say these things in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. I can't wait till we get rid of that middle flag. All right. We, having no one sign up on public forum, will move forward with our consent agenda, which is one item, the approval of the minutes of the previous council meeting.
I will make a motion to approve the city council meeting minutes from November 2nd.
Second.
We have a motion by Councilman Beck and a second by Councilmember Jones.
Carlson, yes.
Egbert, yes.
Beck, yes.
Jones, yes.
Garrett, yes.
All right, item number 2 is an action item. Consideration of a resolution awarding the contract for 1200 North Hobble Creek Elementary Sidewalk Connection Project. Mr. Lord.
We've talked about this one a lot. Any questions?
Just wondering about safety of the kids during construction.
It's going to be a lot safer during construction than it is right now, but we'll see. No, we'll make sure that everything's protected and get them all off the side, and
I assume that.
we're gonna keep a pathway open for them, and in fact, it'll probably be a protected pathway. If we need to flag the whole construction during school starting and ending, we will, but I don't think we'll need to. So
It's not heavily used anyway, is it?
no, it's not.
What about the possibility of dedicating a path using the lateral canal trail and then guiding them back to the other sidewalk and the crosswalk?
That would be a really, really good idea. We've had very little success convincing anybody that that's a good idea. So I think we could do that. I don't think anyone's going to do it. So I think it would be more effective for us to give them a dedicated place to walk.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they're just going to walk around the cones. So, but thanks for bringing that up. But we'll make sure. We got a pre-construction meeting tomorrow, assuming this is awarded tonight. That was a little presumptuous of me, but I can cancel that if I need to.
Is this is for just public consumption, is I guess this whole meeting is for public consumption, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
The sidewalk master plan, is that posted on the Public Works? Because I suspect there will be some questions that come up and say, that's great that they're getting a sidewalk. When are we getting that in our area?
That's a good question. I'm actually not sure. Since we moved everything over to the new website, I can check. We've posted it. We've put it out on social media in the past. But I'll look into that.
I think that would be helpful to have that accessible, because I suspect, people will want to know when that will be coming to. We've had a few questions in the last few months from different areas of the city, regarding sidewalks, so.
Okay, I'll look into that.
Two comments to add to this. We're trying to work around the weather a little bit too. So the goal is to get that sidewalk in quickly. In fact, probably the next week or two we'll see that, maybe after Thanksgiving.
Yeah, 2 weeks is pushing hard. But I'm going to push them hard to do that.
So we do recognize with weather, it'll be a little bit tricky, but certainly we want to get the sidewalk in. The individual who reached out to us by email, I did talk with him yesterday and gave him some updates. We've had a couple email correspondence with him, but I had a good conversation with him yesterday and to let him know where we're at this point. So, and I told him I'd follow up with him once it's approved this evening, and Stephen has his pre-construction meeting, so I'll talk to him again.
I'll make a motion to award the bid for the 1200 North Sidewalk project to Hall Engineering and Construction.
Second.
We have a motion by Councilmember Egbert and a second by Councilmember Jones.
Do I need to say that to adopt the resolution to approve the bid? I want to be all formal. Okay, I'll make a motion to adopt the resolution awarding the bid for the 1200 North Sidewalk project to Hall Engineering and Construction.
Second.
Oh, Egbert, yes.
Beck, yes.
Jones, yes.
Garrett, yes.
Carlson, yes.
Great, thanks, Stephen. Go to item number 3 is discussion item. A discussion item to receive feedback on the Central Utah Water Conservancy District's recommended landscape water efficiency standards. Who's taking this one?
I've got it.
You got it, Mr. Conroy.
So Central Utah Water has put out some recommended water efficiency standards for landscaping. And what they're doing is, in order for residents of a city to qualify for any of their rebate programs, the city has to adopt these standards. They've been in discussion with the cities for the last several months on this. We've provided feedback, some of which has been incorporated, much of which is not. But the basic changes for us would be, number one, that you couldn't have grass in any areas that are smaller than 8 feet in width. The second would be that 35% of the front yard, no more than 35% of the front yard could be grass. And if it's in a commercial area, no more than 20%. And then they have some standards for common areas that are part of HOAs as well. And so we wanted to just get this before the council and see if there's an appetite to adopt these standards. They would be a change in practice from what we're currently doing. We've had some conversations with some of the other South County cities. I know Spanish Fork presented this to their council last night. Their council was not supportive of it. They're concerned that this is a little too heavy-handed, coming from, mandating it in order to participate in their programs. So they have some concerns. I know Santaquin had some concerns, but many communities have adopted it, others have not. So it's really just an opportunity for us to discuss this as a council and see what direction you want to go.
Do those standards come with enforcement recommendations or thing like that, or is that kind of up?
No, I mean, they just, in order to participate in their programs, they want to see that we've adopted it.
That just applies to the front yard
It
for the
would,
permit?
yep,
So
just
does
for new homes, so new construction,
So the back acre could have anything on it?
yeah.
That's what I meant. Okay, that's what I thought.
And it's residents that would be able to apply for the rebate program, right?
Yeah.
It's not a city, it's not a city opportunity, it's just.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, so if somebody wanted to flip their strip and they did it and went to the water district and wanted to get a rebate and we had not adopted these, they would tell them that they would not be eligible for it.
Have we had any residents come express interest in flipping their strip, or their?
A little bit. I don't think there's been a lot. The hope is that we obviously get more participating in that. But whether that is enough for the council to want to make these changes, that's what we're here to discuss.
I think the Local Scapes program is a fantastic program. The principals are sound. The individuals behind it are very well-trained, and they know what they're doing. And I think Local Scapes designed along the Local Scapes principles, in my personal opinion, makes for a more aesthetically pleasing front yard and park strip. If the homeowner is committed to doing some amount of maintenance, it's a fairly low-maintenance approach. I think there's a lot of really good things about it. I'm not comfortable with the mandating, or not the mandate, the requirement of it. Certainly not without providing an opportunity for our residents to have more exposure to what it is, have more exposure to what is Local Scapes. What are the principles behind Local Scapes? It's not lava rock and cactuses. And I think creating some of that awareness or opportunities for people to learn more, those that want to. I think that's more of an initiative that I could really get behind before supporting an ordinance. And I mean, I've been personally very interested in the local scapes and would like to see more, but I can't go from zero to mandating overnight. But I think there's a lot that we can do as a city to help encourage more initiative. And perhaps with that, there might be more support from the community as a whole to want to see more widespread change. But I would like to follow up, and this is a separate conversation. We did speak with the Conservancy District, was it a year ago or 18 months ago, about some possibilities of working together on a collaborative project. And that's something that I would like to pick up. I know with the Facilities Master Plan, there was some discussion about let's see how that can fit into our master plan. I think that having that type of a partnership with a garden could be a great step to inviting our community to be more involved in some of these principles, short of mandating or before going towards the ordinance.
One of the things, and I haven't confirmed this was part of the discussion we had with the community development directors of the South County, was that Central Utah Water is moving towards, if you're going to enter into any agreement with them, they're going to have this as a requirement. So it may be that even for us to want to participate in something like that, we'd have to have this ordinance adopted.
Well, and I think that's understandable, and if I'm them, I would do that same thing. But for me personally, I think there's a lot more that we can do as a city to involve our residents in more water-wise options. And I mean, there's ways we can do that, but.
It seems like they're pushing pretty hard, and maybe they'll hold their ground, maybe they won't, but I agree. I think it's better, at least for right now, to provide education and incentives for citizens to choose to do this and provide them means to learn about how to do it more effectively and efficiently and cheaply than to force them to do it.
And I'm on the same page. I think this is a little too much. There are some of the principles I can get behind, but not all of them. And just like Leslie said, I agree. When we talked about doing this community garden, that with the garden element and then the conservation garden, to model those behaviors, I think there are things we can do regarding education, and then also as a city, changing how we operate to demonstrate those more water-wise principles in our planning. So I definitely lean towards the education and demonstrating those strategies ourselves.
I tend to agree with what's been said. I don't know that we have a deadline we're supposed to make a decision by, or could we just say, like, we'll see what it's like next year, maybe we want to do it then, I don't know.
Yeah, we can always make a change. One of the things we talked about, I think Spanish Fork brought up with their council last night, is possibly those communities who have these types of concerns putting together a letter that we all sign to send to the irrigation district or to the conservation district. Is that something you'd be supportive of if we
Yeah,
Yes,
I
I
would.
would.
discuss that?
Sounds
Okay.
good.
I can work with Dallas on that then. Okay, that's all I needed.
Excellent. Thanks, Sean. Thank you, everyone, for your input. We'll go to administrative reports, and Mr. Chief, you ready?
Mine's quick.
Don't make it where we don't break the record.
Talked to Chief Glasgow. He doesn't have anything to report. Things are clipping along pretty good over there for him, so appreciate that. Mine's real quick. Just addressing the speed complaints. We brought everybody out last night for 2 hours and did a little speed blitz. They stopped 43 cars and wrote 12 tickets. So we'll keep watching some of those problem roads and keep working on them, but it's been good to visit with some of these residents and some of their concerns on there. Hopefully we can get them fixed. And then just plan on when we retreat in January, February, whenever it is, we'll talk more about that policy, about that traffic calming policy that Stephen's helping us on. So that's in the future. Thanks.
I wasn't out last night.
Thanks, Chief. Yeah, me too. I'm glad I wasn't in his radar.
You should let us know when you're going to do that.
He did.
He did.
Yeah, that's why some of us stayed home.
Oh, okay.
12 tickets? Of 12? Oh.
And I'll get those paid as soon as I can.
All your kids are out.
We can all hold on to his paycheck. Right?
Madison, do you have anything besides what we're going to talk about with the, okay, we can come back to that. Mr. Conroy?
Nothing.
Mr. Lord?
I don't think I have anything.
That's the first.
you want me to come make something up?
Is anyone interested in solar?
Let me tell you about a great,
Absolutely
great new
not.
opportunity.
No. No interest in the whole
He's not
city.
asking the city for money, he's asking us individually for
Yeah.
money.
Friends and family, I'm trying to build my downline.
All right, we'll talk tomorrow. Reed?
Just a quick update on the solid waste district. I just came from their meeting, and everything so far, construction-wise, is going along very well. We've spent a third of the money, but we're not quite a third through, but all the materials that we were concerned about and maybe hold us up, like steel and roofing and some other things, we've already have on site. We've prepaid for them. We have control of it. Construction's moving along well. We still seem to be on schedule. So far, so good, I would say. You're welcome to drive by and look at things if you would like to. They're starting the push wall pour, which will be a massive pour this probably Friday to get that wall up. And then some other construction will start, and pretty soon they'll start working on doing the layup panels, and which will be poured on site, and then they'll start laying them up. But so far, it still looks like January 24.
Great. Thanks, Reed. Good update. Jessica?
Last night, we had our very first Community Preparedness Committee meeting, and that was lovely. We have some really engaged, very experienced citizens involved, and so I think it's going to be a productive committee. We had the Utah League of Cities and Towns Board meeting and Legislative Policy Committee meetings this week also. Same principles, principle-based policies we're working with right now, especially regarding the affordable housing and cities' rights. And so stay tuned. There's some interim session decisions coming forward.
Great, thanks, Jessica. Casey?
I don't have anything.
The only thing I have is a repeat from 2 weeks ago. Everybody is invited to attend the chamber event. I'm sorry, I don't have it pulled up. January 10th in the morning at 7:45 to 9 a.m., where both Springville and Mapleton councils and mayors are invited, like we did last year, for a Q&A. And I think some of you have responded. If you haven't, just let us know. I'll be mentioning it a few more times.
Where's that at?
It's at the library. Springville Library.
Same room as last time, probably?
Yeah, I'm sure. And that's all I have.
Great, thanks, Leslie. Darren?
I don't have anything.
All right. Camille?
We had our senior luncheon on Thursday, and we had a great turnout. There's about 110 people there. The mayor spoke to them. I think they just loved it. I had a couple of people say.
Thought it was very nice.
It seemed like,
Catered the event for them this year just to say thank you to.
First time that's happened.
Yeah, so I think they really enjoyed it.
I didn't realize that we were catering it prior to the meeting. Several people came up to me and said, thanks for providing dinner, and then I saw the catering truck when I pulled up, but I can't believe how appreciative they were just for that gesture.
There's a good turnout,
Is that the most turnout we've ever had?
yeah.
It seemed like there was 300 in there.
Free lunch.
I will say, I think 3 times I got a full applaud out of everyone. That was the first time I got that kind of response.
Our chair
That
person
many
of the committee
times.
was really nervous what they were going to say to the mayor, and they were great.
Yeah, what's her name?
Terry Day.
Yeah, Terry, she came up to me before and she's like, I'm just pre-apologizing. I don't know what they're gonna ask you. I'm like, you can ask me anything. I don't care, She's like, are you sure? She was really worried. So, it was great. I'll tell you, one of the items that they full-on applauded for was fiber internet.
Yeah, they did.
When most people thought, well, the older people are not gonna sign up for it, they full-on applauded for, it was cool.
That's because I secretly promised them an elderly discount to.
Oh, great. We get a lot of booze next time then. So thanks for doing that, Camille. And Leslie.
That was nice.
That was great.
Yeah, I was there as a private citizen,
Oh.
chaperone, but it was nice to be there.
I thought you were helping. But it
But
looked like
I
you
was
were.
I was helping two members of my parents were there. So,
Gotcha.
yeah.
Corey?
Yeah, a couple of things for you. First one, about a week ago, MAG reached out to me by email, and you recall, for the last few years, we've talked about this from time to time, and regarding the future plans with the consolidating of the tracks. And obviously, this is tied through both Springville, Spanish Fork, and us, and those tracks, as they're looking at them, would consolidate kind of next to the Harvest Park area, along that railroad area. They want us to submit a letter of support for the project. I wanted to reach out to you as a council to see what your thoughts are. My opinion is we hold off on that. I haven't felt like they've had a few meetings and updates over the years with us, but nothing of, consistent updates. And therefore, to put a letter out there is a little bit concerning to me. But I'm open to it. One of the ideas we had, I know me and Sean and Stephen talked a bit with the mayor, was to, put some specifics of ensuring that there's safety when this takes place, and also obviously the noise factor of it. So we could address that in the letter. It's going to happen. It's kind of one of those that, it's coming. So thoughts on that?
Is it MAG that's asking for the letter of support, or the railroad that's asking for the letter of support?
MAG's the one asking for it, to send it through the process, yeah.
I think your recommendation is good. It sounds to me like your caution comes from not having really enough information, details, and engagement. Is that right?
Yeah, that's,
Whatever it takes to get that road fixed, whatever you have to put in the letter to,
I say we
Get the
put
road
some
fixed.
stipulations on it with boring of a tunnel underneath the railroad tracks and fixing of the roads.
condition it, yes.
Well, you have that, and then you have the distance from the railroad tracks to Slant Road. That's a joke that they won't
Yeah.
let us touch,
Yeah.
that portion there.
That needs to be fixed, yeah.
It's gotta be fixed.
Yeah.
And then you also have the horn honking from this section to that section, stop honking your horn and get the right barricades. And there's a lot of stuff like that we put on there, but my opinion also was, don't write the letter right now. It's gonna get more heated. There's gonna be more things come up, because my opinion is, for us, it's better if you keep the west railroad track and eliminate the east. That's all in reality for us.
For us, it is, yeah.
But, I get it, we're little guys and we don't get to demand which one goes away, but I want them to know that's where we stand, unless someone else disagrees. If we get that railroad track moved, but that's also the division between Spanish Fork, Mapleton, blah, blah, blah. But the further the train is down the hill, then the better,
Yeah.
in my opinion, but anyway.
But in the same stance, I think there's desire to get it done.
Sure.
We
Yeah.
definitely want it done. Transportation-wise, it's going to be a massive boost to roads and infrastructures.
We couldn't stop them if we wanted to, right? They're gonna do it, and we want them to get it done. I'm just saying it's important they know our stance and our concerns.
Yeah, I agree with you.
I don't think it hurts anything to not write a letter, right? I mean, we're not,
Right, yeah.
yeah,
we're not
I don't think there's
forced-
any requirement or urgency to write a letter, but when that letter is written, I agree. There's a leverage point to make some really appropriate requests.
Okay.
Is MAGA the three cities, or is it another organization, or is it the railroad? Who?
railroad,
There's three cities.
UTA, and Spanish Fork, Springville, Mapleton.
So who decided that we should write a letter?
MAG, Mountain Lands Association of Government, they're the ones kind of
Oh,
leading the
okay.
project.
Okay, Mountain Lands Association of
Yep.
Governments decided that.
Yep.
They're funding it, huh? So the railroad's funding the rest of it?
Federal government will fund some of it too. So yeah, it's coming from a number of different groups, but Stephen's correct. MAG's the one that is leading the project.
All the crossings will be basically the same place, I guess, won't they, along there, just need to be improved, and there won't be any more probably railroad traffic than there already is. It'd just be the same, wouldn't it?
Oh, you mean over the railroad tracks?
Yeah, I mean,
There's gonna be a new one that comes into town, but that's yet to be built,
new,
on the north side.
there's new tracks coming into town?
Oh, you're talking about tracks, sorry, I'm talking about crossing.
Oh, no, I'm just talking about the railroad.
The crossings will definitely be safer. I mean, there'll be some things that'll benefit us, and that's certainly one. Safety of the crossings, like the mayor's mentioning, and pedestrian traffic, that kind of stuff.
They'll have to do something to cut the horn blowing
Well,
to
if-
make safety.
If we can push them, I mean, what do they care, right? Yeah, that's what we gotta let them know.
Okay, well, I'll monitor it closely. between Steve and Sean and the mayor, we'll kind of keep tabs on it and keep you posted with it.
Corey, maybe just one more thing. It is important to consider that the consolidation of these tracks makes the freeway connection much more feasible at 1600 North or Springville 1600 South. Without that consolidation, that project is
Right,
really
that's
very,
what I
very
was, that's what I
difficult.
was referring to on the transportation
Yeah.
plan, yeah.
Yeah, so just keep that in mind. And I think like the mayor said, we're supportive. It's just, do we write a letter right now? And you're probably right, so.
Next one for you, Monday, November 28th is our annual tree lighting ceremony. That's at 6 PM. Welcome to attend that awesome event. Leslie, and it sounds like you've already been over there getting things set up with the Historic Committee a little bit, or Town Square Committee, I should say. Sound like
Square
you,
Committee, and we're going to try a new roasted nut this
yeah,
year.
I heard you about caught something on fire just on a practice
A lot of
run.
things on fire.
So,
It's a good thing one of the buildings is cinder block.
tell the Town Square, thank you for their help with that. But again, that's Monday, November the 28th at 6 PM. Interviews for Stephen's position, we're meeting with a couple tomorrow. The mayor and Councilmember Carlson will be helping us with those interviews, and we'll keep you posted on that. And I know I've said it 100 times, but we're going to miss Stephen. He's been great for our team, and we'll save some of our comments for the future time we get together. Yeah, that's right.
Save our tears for the future, too.
The other one for you, in your last city council meeting, we talked about the Mapleton City Network. We're finalizing some things in regards to the mapping. So we haven't sent anything out to the community yet. More than likely, that'll be here in the next week or two. It's tricky around holidays, and one of our mappers has been out of town, and as soon as he gets back, we get the map finally finalized. Then Madison's already got the draft Fiber Fridays ready to go. And so we're getting close, and we'll be meeting to talk a few ideas with some surveys, et cetera. So anyway, that's why you haven't seen anything yet, but it's close, and we'll let you know a day before we send the Fiber Friday out, so that you're aware that it's coming, and our community will be able to see that update to the map. We're going to try to avoid the December 21st City Council meeting, so the goal would be just one meeting in December. That's all I had.
Great, thanks, Corey. All right, Madison, how do we want to do this? We have something to put on the screen, right, Camille?
Is there a drum roll?
Oh, wow, that was quick.
That was,
It's also in your inboxes as well, so you have it in front of you. Got this image, and then kind of an implementation image. So we had a great meeting with our visual brand designer, and he presented a couple different concepts for visual branding with our rebrand, and we have two that we would like to present to you today for some feedback, opinions, insights, just to get clarity in which direction to move forward. So on your left is a logo proposition that features a barn, which is kind of the most straightforward representation of Small Town Big Heart. So you'll see, if you look on the swag, you'll see on the next slide, it'll have like sweatshirts, t-shirts, a hat. You'll see there's a very small like light ray at the top of the barn, but we've reworked that and the logo itself to just be a cupola. We felt like the rays made it look a little too religious instead of a barn, which we were going for. So that's more in the direction of Small Town Big Heart. It reflects the architecture that we see around town, and the brand voice, Jed described it as contemporary Western, which is an interesting portrayal of that. And then the other logo on the right, if we're able to go back to the other side, thank you. This is a literal brand image, taking that contemporary Western appeal more literally. So two very different concepts. Both of them can be reworked for departmental logos, social media images. Yes.
Do you have, Camille, do you have the one that shows the sun on the top of the barn in an image like
It's
that?
on the next one, but it's very tiny, you can't see it.
I might be able, pull up on my laptop.
It's a halo.
Do you have one, Dallas?
Yeah.
I've got one right here. Can you see it,
Yeah.
Jessica?
Yeah, I agree. It looks too religious.
Yeah.
I was trying to figure out what it was, and then you told me it was a barn. Okay, it's a barn, but it doesn't stick out like a barn to me yet.
Gotcha. And we can play around with colors as well. Once we choose a direction, I think maybe if we were to look at that concept in different shades of red or burgundy, maybe it would appeal more like a barn. But for now, we'll just which direction, and then we can get those details figured out later.
What's the line after the M in the right side logos?
Just an accent, just to make it stand apart a little bit. I guess this is very reflective of like cattle branding, and so I guess that's just been a common style over the years, is to have some kind of curl like that to make it unique. So I don't know. Dallas, Corey, do either of you have anything to add with that?
I'll say that the guy that did this is pretty stinking good at what he does. And I thought for sure he would come with one really good one and then some really crappy ones, and it'd be really easy, and that's not what he did. Because when I first saw him, I'm like, oh yeah, the barn makes total sense, and then he explained the meaning behind both of them, and I'm like, actually, they're both really good. And he brought pictures of, like when he explained the barn thing, he had a bunch of pictures of the barn throughout the city, and told the story about, hey, in your city you have these barns that represent this open space feel and animals and all this stuff, and the feeling that it creates. Then it jives with, you know, small town, big heart. And then he says, you got these blacksmith shops and your heritage that goes into that, and you look at the branding stuff that has to do with that, and then the brand makes sense, and then he came up with this brand, and I'm like, dang, that's good too. So it's not as easy as I thought it would be.
Yeah, I agree. When I first saw the brand style, I thought, not so much.
Right.
But when you look at it as a brand, I think maybe we could take the curl down a little bit, because it almost looks like an M-O when you first look at it. But overall, that's really cool, the brand idea.
My issue with the two on the left, though, is that it looks kind of similar to what Spanish Fork did with their building that they have in them. Yeah.
Yeah, the line style is very similar to a lot of cities that I've seen. I don't dislike the barn. I like the M integrated in it. I think that's clever. At first, I hated the brand. Then, as you explained it, I mean, not hate, but I was more drawn to the other one. Other than that, I think it's pretty common. But the branding one is unique. However, I do have I'm like an animal rights kind of person, and I frankly think the concept of burning skin on animals is not the direction we should go, just from that
We're not burning
perspective. I think it's clever, but I just don't.
Jessica, think about burning it on wood.
Okay.
Yeah. That's not the intent of branding, but acknowledged. Tell me what you did as a
Pictures with
kid and the cattle farming.
And then this image shows different ways you could see the brand. I don't know, I say brand and that's confusing. Different ways you could see the
Brand.
logo, yes.
I'll say one thing, when we did this, the thing that my mind kept going back to is if you do like the brand thing, it just requires some explanation to like understand why and what. Otherwise, they're like, oh, they took an M and put a curl on. Right?
I agree with that.
And
You
it
shouldn't have
takes
to
us,
explain.
and if we don't get the message across right, a lot of people are like, you
You're
know,
missing the mark.
that's kind of lame, whatever. But obviously with a barn, it takes zero. There's no explanation you got to give. When you recognize the barn, it's clever, it has the M, but like, and then you make the seal with it, it's simple. It's, you know, sends the message without explanation.
You know, and I don't mind the sun on the barn, I really don't. Now, could it look a little less,
It's a manger.
manger-ish, like manger-ish, yes, perhaps, but I don't, it's like the sun rising.
Maybe
rising of
move it
the-
over to the side just a little bit, offset from the roof line a little bit, maybe.
Well, I think that, you know, we've hired some really good people.
Right.
That are incredibly talented at what they do, and so I don't personally want to get into critiquing, do this, do that, change this, change that, because I'm not a designer. But I think the sun, it's that sun rising.
Yeah, rising
And I
sun.
think there's a hope to that and a forward-looking symbolism. Now, could it be a little less redemptive, like, perhaps, but I don't mind it at all.
I know that you can say it looks like a manger, but at the end of the day, the whole rising theme, rising sun thing, it's just,
Very hopeful, forward-looking.
it is, and it's part of what he designed, you know, based on the survey and based on, that's why what you said I completely agree with is this guy's so good at what he does. The amount of brands he's made that are in our faces every day, and like we're aware of a lot of them. He's so good at it, and he takes all of that, incorporates it in. It's hard to say, well, get rid of that. Because I had the first, what Jessica or Reed or somebody there, and somebody said, I had the same initial thought, and the more I've looked at it and tried to incorporate it with what we do, and then you look at it on the, you had it, oh, right there, on the swag, and then when you have the seal that goes around it, it looks pretty stinking cool.
I still think it's pretty mangery. I'm not anti the sun in general. It's how it's represented. To me, it's a manger. If I haven't seen it with the cupola plus the sun, like how that would, the sun concept is valuable.
Because you haven't really seen this, right, very easily? Can
Yeah,
you
I
see
can
that?
see it, but
You
I can
see
see,
that.
like, it's still a manger to me. So I would rather it be more clearly a barn, but if we're going that direction, you know, I'm not opposed to seeing if they can tweak it so it's less churchy looking. I mean, it even looks like people like praying at the manger, so. It's, to me, it's really it's a manger, and it's even an M for manger. So I mean, really, the whole thing is just a big manger, but
Oh, my gosh, now that you point that
now you'll always see it. But I always like the symbolism of a sun. That's why so many cities have the sun rising over the mountains. I mean, that's very standard. So whether we have the sun or not, I don't necessarily care about that. I like the contemporary, what do they call it? Contemporary cowboy or whatever?
Yeah,
Contemporary country.
Cowboy, Western.
I think the left is it's a good. I think there's a song about that
Well,
somewhere.
And if we choose to go that direction, different color palettes could maybe help with that aspect as well. If it's more like traditional barn colors, maybe it wouldn't scream manger as much, but we can definitely ask Bill to see if there's a concept kind of combining that cupola and the sun rays.
Yeah, let him do his magic, tweak it as the hair and come back. Next time, bring swag, though. I really want some of that stuff.
It's good. We'll loop Logan in for that. He always chooses the best t-shirt style. And
Camille, if you go back to the other slide.
It looks empty there after seeing it with the sunburst. It looks.
Uh-huh. That's the problem. When I look at it, it looks like it's lacking that, but.
What's there right now?
Looks bare.
I don't know, I think with
What's at
that
the top?
and the
Is it
sun
just
off
a-
to the side of the
It's
roof
just the
line.
cupola part of, on the
I
barn,
think
you
that will
mean?
look
Yeah.
good.
It's what, it just doesn't have the sun
Okay.
raying over the top of it.
Yeah.
That's the only difference.
What about a
Yeah,
gazebo
let
there
him
instead of a
interpret
barn?
it and tweak it however he wants, yeah. Yeah. he's
Just,
got
it's hard for me to see that, I don't know,
Really
when I first
like
look at it, I
the
didn't
font,
think it was a barn, but,
Oh, really?
I mean, after I look at it for a while,
Yeah, yeah.
then I can. But I'm thinking more of like if someone's driving down the road and they see that, I don't think they'll get it right away.
That typography.
If you,
Good, Madison.
he took a picture, like, this was the picture on his presentation, just. Harvest Park even looks like a barn when you don't really realize it till you see it, but.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to
Yours-
change the outline of my shed in my backyard.
I think it's cool, though, that encourages also, like, if you're gonna maybe build a detached garage, you would think about that first, like, if that's a theme throughout the city that keeps it more feeling like country,
Yeah.
off the beaten path kind of a thing. I think a lot of people already do that. It's either match the style of your house or build something like a barn style, but. Did you have an opinion, Mr. Lord?
We like the brand.
is that the right opinion?
We don't really care to hear it. I was just wondering if you had one.
We did get matching tattoos already.
It's appropriate for a brand.
That's right.
Madison, what are the next steps after this discussion item tonight? What happens next?
So next steps, once we choose a direction to go in, that's where we will develop the style guide, which will really break down the font types, the font spacing of if we have a letterhead document, what font should the heading be in, the body text. The style guide would also define colors. It would define standards for departmental logos, like social media profile pictures. Basically, it's a manual for how this brand will work in action. And then once that style guide is solidified, we can plug and play and implement this, update the website, reach out to Revise and see if we can just update the coding for everything in there right now to match the new colors, the new fonts, update some of the pictures, update our social media branding, get swag made so that we can have that on show throughout the community, update different signs around. So we're really close to that finish line.
What conversations have there been, if any, regarding departmental logos? Clearly, we don't want a new logo for every department. There needs to be some consistency and brand integrity. What conversations have there been around that topic?
We haven't discussed that yet. It's
Okay.
been more focused on which direction to go in, just so when we choose a path, we can really dive deep into all of those details.
Okay.
Question on the brand. Is the swoosh, is that supposed to be represent something, or why does it come back like that?
I think just stylistic.
Well, it doesn't represent it, that's not a, okay,
Yeah.
doesn't have any, it's just there.
Yep, it's just there, stylistic, to be a little unique. When we put together our portfolio for Bill, we took a picture of the blacksmith shop in the barn that had the brands imprinted on it, and so he just thought this style kind of matched those the best with that little swoosh.
We're gonna mandate all animals in the city be branded. In case they escape to Spanish Fork, we can get them
Does
back.
M stand for mayor? The mayor?
Bears, the
Yeah.
bears.
I'd like to see the cupola integrated with the sun in maybe a different way. I think
Okay.
that's what helps it separate from being a manger, having that. It creates it's more barn-like. So if you can integrate them, I do love the symbolism of the sun, even if everybody else has it, but.
Just so it doesn't look like a star.
Yeah, so make it very clear, very distinct. It's a sun. Yeah, sounds great. I can go email Bill tonight or first thing in the morning.
I don't think we should throw out the whole brand concept. Not, like if Parks and Rec wanted to use that for something. A lot of brands have a formal brand and then they have a sporty version of it.
Yeah.
If you think of your college, they have their standard that's more conservative, but then you have the sport or athletic brand. I think there's something to
Yeah,
this that
I
is
agree.
actually kind of intriguing. Maybe the font is the same, and so we have a standard thing, but we can use it for more fun or social, and this is more formal. I don't know. I don't think we should throw out some of it.
I agree. Matter of fact, that's what I kind of thought when you guys first put it up. I thought these were the two that we were going to use. One was going to be for certain purposes, and the other one would be used for other purposes.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Incorporate it.
I think that's,
Looks good. Let's do it.
like sports T-shirts and stuff, the M would look really
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Sweet.
I think Public Works, the brand works great.
Mhm.
It's a different,
Yeah.
would look better than.
I think those are great questions for the brand guys that live and eat and drink brand. How they
I've
would
got one
recommend
for
that.
Chief.
As opposed to
Yeah.
brand. That'd be gross.
As opposed to brand,
We got a brand for Chief, too.
the
for
brand
his-
guys.
Well, and the brand, and all of the lingo tonight.
Made a couple of siren or flashing red and blue lights.
Ooh, there you go.
There
Now
you
you're
go.
talking. Now you're talking.
Great. Hey, well,
Fire truck.
I will take this feedback back to our brand designer, see if we can get some more concepts of the barn with the cupola and the sun, and then we can go from there. Does that sound like a good plan?
Excellent.
Okay, great. Thank you all very much.
Thanks.
Just email them when we get them, and we can get feedback.
Yeah.
I don't have to wait till meeting.
Okay.
Thanks,
Sounds great.
Madison.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
thanks,
Very
Madison.
much for your work on that, and keep pushing it forward. All right, with that, we'll look for a motion to close.
I make a motion to close this meeting.
I'll second it.
Motion by Councilmember Jones, second by Councilman Carlson. All in favor?
Garrett, yes.
Yes.